I knew my son's new wife wanted something from me the first time I saw the way she looked at my house. Not at me, not even at my son, but at the bricks, the wide porch, the oak trees I planted with my late wife. Her gaze wasn't filled with love or admiration. It was hunger, and 2 days after their wedding, she proved me right. She showed up at my door with a notary and a stack of papers, expecting me to hand over the home I built with my own two hands. My name is Edward Thompson, but most folks in town just call me Grandpa Eddie. I'm 74, long retired, and still living in the house I raised my family in. I laid its foundation myself back when I was young, strong, and newly married to my Margaret. She's been gone 10 years now, but her touch lingers everywhere. In the flower garden out front, in the wallpaper she chose, in the kitchen where we laughed until midnight. That house isn't just wood and brick. It's memory. It's love. It's my life. So, when my son Michael told me he was marrying a young woman named Rebecca, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. She was beautiful, I'll admit, much younger than Michael, with a polished smile and a designer purse always slung over her shoulder. But beauty isn't substance, and I saw the cracks right away. She never asked about me, never cared to know the stories behind the photographs on my walls. Instead, her questions always circled back to the property. How long has this house been in the family? Did you ever think of selling? Michael, wouldn't this be the perfect place to raise children? Michael laughed at her comments, brushing them off as harmless curiosity. But I saw something in her eyes that unsettled me. The wedding itself was quick and polished, like everything else in Rebecca's world. She barely looked at me when I gave my toast. And when I spoke of love being patient, selfless, and enduring, I caught a flash of irritation cross her face, as if those words were a personal insult. 2 days later, the truth came knocking. It was mid-afternoon. I was in my armchair with a cup of tea when I heard the sharp rap at the door. Opening it, I found Rebecca dressed in a cream-colored suit, her hair pinned tight. Beside her stood a man with a leather briefcase. "Good afternoon, Edward," she said smoothly. "This is Mr. Callahan, a notary public. We're here to go over the transfer of your house." I blinked. Transfer of my what? She smiled thinly and tapped a stack of documents the notary pulled from his case. "The house? Michael and I need somewhere proper to start our life together. This place is far too big for you. All you have to do is sign here, and the deed will be in our name." I set my teacup down hard enough for it to rattle. "Young lady, this house is mine. I built it with my own hands. You have no right, no decency to ask for it." Her smile faltered, revealing the steel beneath. "Don't be dramatic. You're old, living alone. Wouldn't you rather downsize, move somewhere easier? You wouldn't want to be a burden, would you?" That word burden burned through me like fire. I stepped forward, my voice steady. "Tell Michael if he wants to talk about my house. He can come himself. But you get off my porch before I call the police." The notary snapped his case shut, muttering apologies. Rebecca glared at me, her eyes cold and sharp. "This isn't over," she hissed before storming away. That night, the phone rang. Michael's voice was tired. "Dad, Rebecca told me you yelled at her today. She brought a notary and tried to trick me into signing over my house." There was silence, then a long sigh. "Dad, maybe she has a point. That house is too big for you. You could live somewhere smaller. Let's take it off your hands." My chest tightened. "Michael, are you even hearing yourself? This house is where you grew up, where your mother lived, and you want me to just hand it over because your wife says so." "Don't twist it, Dad," he muttered. "We just want what's best." "For who, Michael? For me? Or for her?" The line went dead. The days that followed were suffocating. Rebecca began showing up uninvited, carrying pies or curtains, speaking as though she already owned the place. "This living room will look so much better once we repaint. These old cabinets will have to go." Each word was a blade twisting in my gut. She wasn't just after the house. She was erasing me from it. I knew that I needed to act. One afternoon, I drove into town to see my lawyer, an old friend named Harold. I laid out everything: Rebecca's visit, the documents, Michael's wavering loyalty. Harold listened, his brow furrowed. "Eddie," he said finally, "you need to protect yourself. Draft a will. Lock down the deed. If she's bold enough to show up with a notary, she won't stop here." So that's what we did. I signed new papers making it clear the house couldn't be touched while I was alive. After my passing, it would go to my grandson, Oliver, Michael's boy from his first marriage. That child loved this house just as much as I did. He'd spent summers in the tree house I built, winters by the fireplace, listening to my stories. I knew he'd honor it. The very next week, Rebecca returned. This time, Michael was with her. "Dad," he began awkwardly. "Rebecca and I think it's time. You shouldn't be living here alone. Just sign the papers." I stood in the doorway, the will tucked safely in my desk upstairs. "No, Michael, this house is mine, and one day it will be Oliver's, not yours, not hers. If you can't respect that, then you're not the son I raised." Rebecca's face twisted in fury. "You selfish old man. You'd rather give it to a child than to your own son and his wife." I met her glare. Better a child who loves it than an adult who only sees dollar signs. Michael looked torn, but Rebecca yanked his arm. "We'll see about this," she spat, dragging him away. That night, I sat on the porch, the sun setting behind the oak trees Margaret and I once planted. For the first time in weeks, I felt peace. Rebecca could scheme all she wanted. Michael could waver, but I had taken my stand. This house would not be stolen from me. It would remain in the family, protected for the grandson who truly cherished it. And as the crickets sang and the evening breeze rustled the leaves, I whispered to the memory of my wife, "Don't worry, Margaret. Our home is safe."